Hello again, everyone. This is Professor Casey. Welcome back. Today we're discussing Lesson 6 of our lesson series. This is on vocabulary and context clues, okay? So this is a little series of tips and tricks that you can use to try to determine the meaning of certain words in a sentence if you're not given a direct meaning or if you're unfamiliar with them, okay? And this is really how you can actually end up learning new vocabulary words in the process, okay? This can be helpful in a novel like what we're reading right now in class, or it could be just in any passage at all, right? If you're reading a newspaper article, magazine, a book, whatever it happens to be, this can be helpful in all situations. So what we can talk about first is vocabulary that exists in context, okay? And what we mean by context is the context of a word basically means the other words that are around it in a sentence, okay? And these are clues that suggest the meaning of the word that we're looking at, okay? So sometimes you can find meaning that's kind of hidden, like little Easter eggs all around it in a particular sentence here. Okay? So the example that we've got here, this little cartoon, says, eat it slowly so you can savor the taste. If you eat it too fast, you won't fully appreciate the flavor. Okay, so there's an older brother, it looks like, talking to a younger brother about how to eat a sucker. Okay, and so we're looking for the word savor here. What does that mean? Okay, and if you already know what the word savor is, this is, a simple enough exercise. But here, if you're not familiar with what the word savor means, you have to look for context clues in the sentences around it to really understand. Okay? So what does the word savor mean? Does it mean to enjoy, to wonder about something, or to forget? Okay? And the context word that we're looking at here is the word appreciate. Okay? If we look at the sentence, the two sentences again as a whole, eating something slowly so you can savor the taste, okay? Savoring the taste is another way of saying appreciate the flavor in the second sentence, okay? You're basically seeing the idea restated just in a different set of words, okay? So the word appreciate here suggests enjoy, okay? And so savor is basically, it's a synonym, right? A word that means the same thing as something else, right? Savor and enjoy mean the same thing, okay? So that's what we're talking about with context clues, okay? And sometimes it's very easy to find them, right? Sometimes whoever is writing the examples will show it to you immediately, and sometimes they're even a little bit more hidden. So we'll do a few examples here, okay? This one says, all animals share the same vital needs, such as food, water, and shelter. Okay? So we're looking at what the word vital means. Does it mean unimportant, necessary, or surprising? Okay? And if we look here, right, all the stuff that's listed here, okay, food, water, shelter, and the word needs that comes after that, right? Needs such as food, water, and shelter, all of that suggests something specific here in the answers, okay? And it suggests B, necessary, okay? Vital and necessary mean the same thing, okay? Another example is in the US, shaking hands is the appropriate way to greet someone. In China, bowing is the right way. Okay? So again, we have another similar situation here. We're looking at the word appropriate, okay? Does it mean proper, artificial, or insulting? So if we have the word appropriate already here, okay, and we already have we have a semicolon here, okay, the little symbol here that comes after someone, okay, it's a comma with a little dot above it, okay, that means we're about to get an example of some kind coming after it, okay. And we also have another synonym here, okay. The word right here is another word for appropriate, okay. So right and appropriate mean the same thing, so we look for another synonym in the answers here. And in this case, it's A, proper. Okay, so appropriate and proper both mean the same thing. And even prop, P-R-O-P, exists in both of these words. Okay, so they both suggest a similar meaning here. Now, another way that you can find context clues here is through examples. Okay, and these are things that are directly referenced within the sentence that tell you specifically what the word that you're looking for means. Okay. So this is basically when you're given a red flag immediately and shown that this is exactly what you're looking for, okay? So this says, when my folks ask when I'm going to get a job, I always give some vague answer, such as, oh, sooner or later, okay? So what does the word vague mean here? Okay. Does it mean angry, humorous, or unclear? Okay. So what we've got here, the words such as in this sentence act as a signal that we're about to get an example. Okay, these are called signal words. Okay, if we're given a signal phrase or signal words that say such as, that tells us we're about to be given the answer, okay, through an example. Okay, so if someone gives you an answer of sooner or later, okay, it's unclear, right? It ends up being C here. Okay, sooner or later is not really an answer. Okay, you're not really being given a direct answer about something. Okay? So that's what we're talking about with examples. Okay, so you're looking for signal words or signal phrases like such as, for example, like this, or and so forth. So here's some examples. Okay, New York, Boston, and Philadelphia are three of the oldest urban areas in the U.S. Okay? So the word urban is what we're looking for. Does it mean empty, city, or country? Okay? And here we have three different examples of urban areas: New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. Okay? We know those places are not empty. Okay? Obviously, there's tons and tons of people that live there, millions, in fact. We know they're not countries. Okay? They exist in a country. And so by process of elimination here, if nothing else, we know that they're cities. Okay? So urban and city both mean the same thing. And here it says a transaction, such as buying or selling a product, is the most basic part of an economy. Okay? So again, with the words such as used as signal words or a signal phrase, we're automatically given the answer here. Okay? Does a transaction mean a profit, a loss, or a business deal? Okay? Buying or selling a product is a business deal. Okay? And so immediately we're given another way of saying the answer right there. Now, another thing we can talk about really quick here is synonyms. And we've already kind of briefly touched on this a moment ago. Okay? A synonym is when you're looking for another word for something. Okay? It's when you have one or more words that mean the exact same thing as a word you already have. Okay? And we use synonyms just so we don't keep using the same description words over and over again. So the cartoon here is a dog talking to his owner again. It says, I try to refrain from overeating, but I can't stop myself. Okay? So what does the word refrain mean there? Okay. Again, this is something that is given as a synonym in the same sentence. Okay. To refrain from overeating, he says, I can't stop myself. Okay. Refrain and stop both mean the same thing. Okay. So if he tries to refrain from overeating, he's trying to stop from overeating. Okay. So again, sometimes it's easy to tell, sometimes it's a little trickier. Okay, so we'll look at a few examples here and you'll see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. Everyone turned to look at the arrogant customer who spoke in a self-important voice. Okay. Here we have the word arrogant is the word we're looking for. Okay. And we also have a synonym in this same sentence that means the same thing. Okay. We already have the word arrogant to describe the customer, so we can then look at the words that are used to describe the voice. Okay. So the customer's voice is self-important. Okay. So self-important and arrogant mean the same thing here. Second one says, the medicine Nina is taking is very potent. It is so powerful she must not take it more than a week. Okay. So again, we're looking for another meaning for the word potent here, if you've never heard the word potent. Okay. And we have the exact same meaning in the very second sentence. Okay. We're told that she must not take it more than a week because it is so powerful. Okay. So powerful and potent both mean the same thing. Finally, it says you cannot coerce people into learning. If they're not interested, it is impossible to force them. Okay. So again, same type of thing that we saw in the second sentence. Okay. Coercing somebody into doing something. Okay. Right? If you look at the second sentence here, it says if they're not interested, it's impossible to force them. Okay. So coerce and force both mean the same thing. Making somebody do something they don't want to do. Another way that we can look for words is through antonyms. Okay? And an antonym is the opposite of a synonym. It means that you have an opposite meaning of an unknown word. So here we have another silly cartoon that says, "What do you mean unreasonable, Miss Jones? I think this is a perfectly rational way to keep myself organized." Okay? Obviously, a naked guy covered in sticky notes is not very rational to us. Okay? So if it's not rational, okay, then it's unreasonable. Okay? And that's what the word unreasonable means, not rational. Okay? It means that it's not, he's not really thinking things through. Okay? He may be a little crazy. So for some practice for antonyms, okay? This one says, some teachers are too lenient. Others are too strict and take the class more seriously. Okay? So if you already know the meaning of the word strict or seriously, okay, then you already know the opposite of those meanings. Okay? So if strict and seriously both mean the same thing, they both mean that you have someone who is very rigorous, they are very no-nonsense about things, then a lenient teacher is the opposite, right? Someone who is a little bit more carefree, they kind of let you do what you want, that sort of thing. Okay, so does it mean easy, complicated, or difficult? Okay. If it's not strict or serious, okay, strict and serious can mean difficult, could potentially mean complicated, okay? So lenient and easy both mean the same thing. And this should say number 2, I apologize. It says a computer novice is lucky if he or she knows someone who is an expert and is willing to offer advice. Okay? So if you are apparently not a novice, you are an expert. Okay? And the opposite of an expert is that someone who is a child, a friend, or a beginner. In this case, the opposite of an expert is a beginner. Okay? Someone who may not know everything about something. Okay? So that's a few ways to look at vocabulary and context clues and how to figure things out. Okay, so head on over now and check out the quiz, and I will see you all next time. Thanks.